Just in time for the holidays, GoDaddy.com now offers gift cards. Available as e-gift cards or a personalized mail card, GoDaddy gift cards can be used for domain names, hosting, or anything else from the GoDaddy.com website. Additional discounts do not apply to the purchase of gift cards, but can be used when redeeming them. Plus, as a listener of MuggleCast, enter code RON when you check out and get your .com domain name for just $6.95 a year. Some restrictions apply. See site for details. Get your piece of the internet today at GoDaddy.com. Because you still haven't ordered 11 more MuggleCast t-shirts, thank you, Kate20 of Florida. This is MuggleCast episode 65 for November 26, 2006.
Two men own yachts. One of them puts his yacht on a river of milk. The other man disapproves considerably and maintains that such a substance could never keep the balance of the boat at optimum efficiency. The second man puts his yacht in a river of coffee. The first man discusses openly his lack of respect for this decision. Again, the two yacht owners voice their contempt for each other. This creates a very tense atmosphere, and both men begin having a huge public argument about their differences in terms of yachts. However, one of the men is a lot more accepting and apathetic than the other. In the end, he turns around and says, "Okay, seriously, let's stop arguing. Whatever floats your boat."
Oh boy, what
Jamie,
a way
I
to!
know why the fangirls love you so much.
Oh yeah, I know. What a way to start off our 65th episode of MuggleCast.
How many?
You know, we're
we can
65th.
retire. Isn't 65 the retirement?
We're good. Yeah, we're done. This is it.
We're getting our special pension soon.
We do have a good show for everyone this week. We got a special interview with the creators of the Harry Potter and Order of the Phoenix video game.
By the way, who did that? Who's in that interview?
Me and Kevin.
You didn't invite me?
It's not that I didn't invite you. You weren't around.
When was it? When'd you do it?
It was at noon 2 weeks ago.
Thanks a lot, dude. Thanks for inviting me.
Sorry. Well, why are you asking now? Why didn't you...
Ben, surely you realised after he'd recorded it that you weren't on it.
I didn't know when he recorded it.
My name is Andrew Sims.
My name is Benjamin Carl Shane.
My name is Jamie Matthew Lawrence.
My name is Eric James Matthew Padfoot Skull.
And I'm Micah Tenenbaum. Jason Isaacs recently spoke to The Observer about his upcoming projects and, of course, a little about Harry Potter. He said, "I spent 2 weeks having a wand fight with Helena Bonham Carter, who plays Bellatrix Lestrange, and Gary Oldman, who plays Sirius Black. Potter is a well-oiled machine now, whichever director is in charge, although it's a slow process working with all those special effects. But it's such a laugh, 5 weeks hanging out with Oldman and Maggie Smith, who plays Professor McGonagall, and Michael Gambon, who plays Professor Dumbledore, who's a right mischievous devil." Speaking of good old Lucius, Forbes magazine has released a list of the wealthiest fictional characters, and Lucius Malfoy came in at number 12, 3 places better than last year's number 15 ranking. The site estimates his net worth to be $1.3 billion. The Guardian is currently running a competition where entrants must guess the title of Book 7, and the one judged to be the best and most innovative will win a J.K. Rowling signed bookplate. The contest will close at midnight on December 6th. Electronic Arts, maker of the entire Potter video game series, on Tuesday announced a new video game, Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. The press release can be checked out over on MuggleNet.com. HBO On Demand is currently airing a special preview of the Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix movie. The preview runs for almost 4 minutes and includes tons of new footage, including behind-the-scenes glimpses at the making of the movie. Be sure to check MuggleNet.com for other various Order of the Phoenix videos, interviews, and photos, including some of the interior of the Ministry of Magic, Harry and Mr. Weasley attending the disciplinary hearing, the writing on Harry's hand from Umbridge's quill, Azkaban, concept art of Grawp, a Death Eater, and pics from the set of Snape's storage room. Dan Radcliffe will fly to Melbourne, Australia for the Australian Film Institute Awards. On December 7th, Daniel and some other celebrities will announce the winners in the Melbourne Exhibition Centre with a national telecast on Channel 9 at 9:30 p.m. Finally, in a very special edition of The Leaky Mug released earlier this week, you can learn the details of how Grimmauld Place will appear in the fifth film, hear about the Potter set in general, and much more from Andrew's special visit to the Order of the Phoenix set. That's all the news for this November 26, 2006 edition of MuggleCast. Back to the show.
All right, thank you, Micah.
You're welcome.
Micah, you know, there was a lot of hot stories this week. Or the Phoenix.
There were a lot of hot stories.
There were. You want to tell us about them?
No, absolutely not.
Good, because we're actually going to wait until later in the show.
See, I knew that. I knew you were going to say that. So
we're going to get. We're going to focus. This show is basically about Order of the Phoenix and the movie in general. We have a couple of rebuttals, of course, but first we do want to talk about some rebuttals or announcements. T-shirts. It's coming to an end. I can't even talk about them anymore because I'm just going to cry every time I think about them. January 1st is the last, December 31st is the last day that we could sell them. January 1st, we have to stop selling the MuggleCast t-shirts forever. So make sure to purchase your own. I purchased 4 the other day because I want to make sure that I stock up. It's like Y2K, right before the year 2000. Everyone was afraid that all the technology was going to stop working. And everyone bought water and stuff just in case. Like,
well, this is the same thing. You have to buy
the same thing.
Yeah, 1 million MuggleCast t-shirts.
That's what I'm saying. Exactly. Just in case they never come back, which they won't. Also, interesting little competition going on Podcast Alley right now. We beat Keith and Girl, and we're right up there up top with our friends at Pottercast.
The what?
And
At what? Sorry? At what?
The who?
Hey, it's this other Harry Potter podcast.
Oh, I've never heard of them.
You guys ever hear this?
No.
So don't forget to vote for us at Podcast Alley. Also, a book. We have a book now?
We have a book.
You guys wrote a book?
Ladies and gentlemen, MuggleNet.com's What Will Happen in Harry Potter 7? Who lives? Who dies? Who falls in love? And how the adventure finally ends. By Ben Shane, Emerson Spartz, Andy Gordon,
That's me.
Gretchen Stoll, and Jamie Lawrence.
That's me, by the way, just in case you were wondering.
It's a very good book. You should go out and buy it. It's in your local retailers now. For those of you in the Chicago area, Emerson and I will be holding an event at the Skokie, Illinois Barnes & Noble, which is a Chicago suburb. Go out and see us. We're going to be talking about the book. It might be a good idea to read it so you can ask us questions, quiz us about it before when we get there. So come out and see us. It'll be a good old time. We'll post more information on the site. And that's about it. So remember, you can pre-order it through Olivons, which will help support the MuggleCast, the site, everything. So go ahead and do that.
So Ben, as a fan of you, I know that I'm really going to want to get a picture with you to post on my MySpace and get your autograph. Will you be doing that at this event?
I guess I could oblige for you, Andrew.
Oh, okay.
$50
Awesome.
You said last time, didn't you, Ben?
Yeah.
That's your standard charge.
Okay, and then also we want to remind everyone that coming up with episode 70, which will be the show we release on New Year's Eve, I think, will be our MuggleCast variety show that is made up of your songs, your segments.
Your song?
Huh? Your song.
Your song.
The one by Elton John.
Yeah.
We're going to have that as opening.
Ben, have you ever heard that song before?
You need me to sing it for you?
No, we don't. We don't need that.
Okay.
The show will be made up of your song segments that were submitted back a few months ago, back in February, March, or April, I think it was, when we had a Create Your Own MuggleCast segment contest. So we're going to air some of those that we never aired. And I have a big announcement to come along with this announcement.
He's coming out, folks. He's coming out.
Andrew Sims, it really is coming out anyway. Andrew Sims, am pregnant. Andrew Sims, I am starting my own wizard rock band.
Yeah, you told me this the other night. I was like, what are you up to? And he says, starting my own wizard rock band.
What's it going to be? Andrew and the Sims?
I do not know. I don't have a name yet for the band. I'm working on my first single right now. It has a good beat. I'll give you a little preview. It's about the podcast that we do, and I really think it's going to be a big hit.
Are you singing too?
Yeah, well, it's more of a rap, but so I'm really excited about it, and the single is going to make its premiere on episode 70, our variety show, and I hope everyone enjoys it. There's bands out there like U2 and Elton John, and I really think I'm right up there with them. So we'll see what the response is like. So if you want to be a part of our variety show, please email your song or segment to MuggleCast@staff.mugglenet.com. We're looking for like MuggleCast remixes, fun stuff like that. Try to keep it short, like 5 minutes or so. It could be shorter than that, 2 minutes, whatever. So thanks for that. We have a rebuttal now.
All right, the first rebuttal comes from Riva of Cleveland, Ohio. She said it was very brave of you guys to take on the age-old question of nature versus nurture as it relates to Harry Potter. After several semesters of philosophy and philosophy of religion, I still can't make up my mind. I do, however, think that if there is something innate in our nature, it will come out. Voldemort would most definitely have been troubled, maybe even psychotic, but his circumstances propensified his evil nature. Not to mention the allure and power that magic added to the situation. There are many times he could have turned back and stopped, but his callous disregard for life leads me to believe that no matter what, he would turn out evil. I have to say Laura was given the short end of the stick this week. With the world being so PC, it's hard to find a court case or argument where a person's environment is not brought up as a factor. It is hard to argue that black and white, good and evil side of the nature versus nurture argument. Kudos for doing such a good job, Laura. Jamie, I think, though, just enjoys playing devil's advocate to any argument.
Very much.
Thank goodness he has the intellect and intelligence, not to mention an amazing accent, that are extremely persuasive. Who knew listening to MuggleCast could be entertaining and intellectually stimulating at the same time?
Well, here's the thing. Jamie, actually, I don't think you really weren't playing devil's advocate, were you?
Well, no, I was playing devil's. I didn't believe all of the stuff I was saying, but I do think that you can't ignore, nurture. Oh, and adding one more thing to that, she says that the allure of magic, is huge, and it's true that for someone like him who didn't grow up in a magical environment, he thought he was a Muggle, the allure is even greater. I mean, if we learn magic now, we'd be drawn to it more so than if it's just a normal part of your life, So that's one more thing.
Well, guys, if we fail to be entertaining and intellectually stimulating the first, 63 times, we have episode 64. Yeah. So that's good news. I'm happy.
Yeah, we got a lot of mixed feedback about that discussion last week. Some people really, really, really enjoyed it, and some people didn't enjoy it.
Yeah,
so, but that's the way it goes every week, pretty much. So, we try to mix it up. We can't be talking about the Horcruxes for the millionth. Yeah.
I think episode 70 through 100 should be the Horcrux shows.
The Horcrux series.
Get people so sick of it that they'll never even email us about it again. Yeah. Before we get to our interview, we are going to talk about the latest Order of the Phoenix developments, because there have been a lot of them. We talked about the trailer a little bit last week, teaser poster, but at that point we didn't really have it in a good quality version online.
So didn't Yahoo release a high-def version?
Yes, they did.
And so what do you guys think of it? Has anything changed for you now that you've had a chance to watch the trailer a lot of times?
No, it's the same. It's just in higher definition.
No, I know this, but you'll pick up more on the subtle nuances of things in the trailer the more times you see it, which is what I'm saying.
Like when I first saw it on YouTube, the picture was kind of dark and you couldn't make out most of it, but then when you see it in high def, you see every single shot, and you can see Bellatrix, which was really cool. But Eric and Micah, you guys weren't on the show last week. What did you guys think of the trailer?
I liked it. It was really short. It didn't seem like 57 seconds when I first saw it in the theater.
That's because it was 54.
Okay. Then okay, that's solved. Okay, so it's 54 seconds. It didn't seem like that. It flew by really fast. Most of the time was spent on the fading in of the logo. So, Sirius Black looks nice. Just going to say Sirius Black looks very nice. Incontrovertible. That's a new word for Michael Gambon.
That's like a word. That is weird.
I have to say, I've never been a fan of Michael Gambon, but he's sort of grown on me since Goblet of Fire.
Hold on,
So
though.
hopefully he does
I want
a
to
better
comment
job.
about him in the whole little scene where he says, "The evidence that Lord Voldemort is back is incontrovertible." I don't know, he just seems too hardcore for me. Like,
But Dumbledore is hardcore.
I think Dumbledore is supposed to be about, like, he's supposed to be stern, but he's not supposed to be like, angry type Dumbledore. I think it's just
No,
supposed to
he
be
is,
more
though.
of
At
a-
some points, he's supposed to be angry. He's supposed to be...
not that angry. I think he's...
Of course he is. The power.
He's supposed to
the
be
radiant-
cool. He's supposed to be cool, calm, and collected. That's
Yeah,
Dumbledore.
there's a dignified kind of "I will hurt you" type thing to Dumbledore. To clarify what I was saying earlier, it's not when he says "I'm not weak." Harry, there's a scene. It's like 26 seconds in.
So
God,
you saw a different trailer than I did.
No, it's the same trailer. 26 seconds in, it's right after Dumbledore says incontrovertible, and it goes to this other scene, kind of panoramic kind of shot of Harry, and he looks like he did in the second Triwizard Task with or something. There's something not right about the lighting of that scene. It just makes him look a little weird, like he doesn't have any hair over his forehead or anything. It's kind of just a particularly weirdly dressed Harry. The rest of the trailer looks fine.
Micah, what do you think?
Overall, I liked it. I agreed. Jamie said last week, I think, that whole scene with Snape, either it's going to go terribly, terribly right or terribly, terribly wrong. The shot from it, though, seemed as if they did a good job with it. But actually, something I had a question about was I paused it about 28 seconds in, and it's right after, or actually right before the whole scene with Harry and Snape. And it looks like Voldemort is shooting something out of his wand, and then if you pause it, there's a picture of a woman in there. No, it's really weird. There's a WB shield in the bottom right-hand corner.
Yeah.
And there's a picture of a woman, but it's not a real woman, and I don't know where exactly this is being shot.
See, I mean, I wish I could see this, but I mean, most of the visual effects aren't done yet, and like the stuff for the trailer, I'm sure they're gonna tweak more. Like I've said this last week, the pendulum behind Umbridge looks terribly fake. Now here's my thing. I thought about this earlier today. The owls are obviously in because of what we see in the trailer. I assume that still means they're in. I mean, they could still cut them, but now if something like that is in, that doesn't seem like a very big plot that really deserves a spot in the movie. And it seems like Dobby would be a more welcomed plot
Addition?
Yeah, rather than the owls.
But the house elves are going to be much more costly.
Well, I don't know. It's an expensive thing, the owls. They've got to do all this stuff in front of Professor Tofty, and you have to,
Right, but I doubt it's not. But it's not as expensive. When I think it was Newell said at the premiere last November, which I was at. I'm kidding. Newell said at the premiere that. What exactly did he say? He said that every time the house elves step on screen, it's literally hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Oh, right, yeah.
So that's probably why. I mean, they only have a $320 million budget. I mean, there's...
Yeah, exactly. It must be tough.
With Goblet of Fire, you have a whole storyline there, which includes... Was it Winky in the beginning? And I think they really changed the whole storyline around just so she didn't have to be in there.
Oh, yeah,
Whereas
they did,
I don't know if adding Dobby in really here would be that much of a deal for them, whereas before in Goblet of Fire would cost quite a lot of money.
Wasn't Winky? Winky was the whole reason, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they completely cut her out.
Yeah, that's screwed up.
But I
mean, like, creatures definitely in it, so they're not completely cutting out house elves. It's not like they're, that department is shut down for this film.
That was my problem with it is, as I mentioned before, the tie-ins, the very strict, limited tie-ins between movies that I'd like to see, such as Dobby coming back. Just because, every director's done their own thing. The only thing that stayed the same is the actors, pretty much. So I want to see house elves again, because then it would kind of, I don't know, link the films together. I don't know if they're supposed to be linked, but they say Harry Potter 1 and Harry Potter 2 and Year 3 in my DVD collection, so,
What?
What?
Yes,
that
they're
made
linked
sense.
The
together.
DVDs, the movies, there's just no connections between the films, except for the actors. Everything else changes.
Well, it's because it's a new director.
Well, I mean, they do have to change, yeah.
Well, yeah.
That's because it's a different film.
Yeah, that too.
Well, I understand, but each book has, links back and forth, and they cut out all the ties to previous films. It's like, okay, Chris Columbus did the Dobby thing, therefore we can never do the Dobby thing again.
Well, actually, if you read sort of Prisoner of Azkaban, it'll say like they'll be talking about Quidditch, and Joe will say Quidditch is a game, played by blah 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 with blah 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 balls, stuff like that. And she'll say that in the third book, but then come book 4, book 5, and book 6, she won't offer sort of previous bits of information to refresh your memory. I think she's assuming that after you get that far, you're she's not going to need to remember what Quidditch is and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, she still makes a couple references.
She does.
She does do some refreshing a bit, like in the early chapters, especially.
Yeah.
Now, what about the HBO on demand? That thing was pretty cool.
That was intense.
Yeah,
What are you guys' thoughts about it?
What was that, like 3 minutes long? It was a good 3-minute look at behind the scenes filming and some interviews with the actors. I really liked it. So the fans loved it.
Imelda Staunton's acting as well. It was cringeworthy in a good way. It was, exactly how Umbridge is supposed to act. I think
she's not fat enough.
No, you're right. She isn't. But the sort of sweetness and disgusting, pleasure in her voice came out. Yeah, it's awfully good. Basically,
bittersweet.
Yeah.
I definitely think she did a good job. But something that that kind of irked me was it didn't really irk me, but to me, like Dan Radcliffe, I mean, he does a good job as Harry, but he just doesn't seem to personify what a leader is. You know what I mean? He doesn't seem to I couldn't see him leading a bunch of his peers like Daniel Radcliffe. I know Harry can, but I couldn't see Daniel Radcliffe really get into that role. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Are you referring to something in the HBO video?
Yeah, like when they start talking about him. They start talking about him teaching. I was just thinking about how they're going to do that because he doesn't seem like the leader type.
Are you saying he's kind of like a one-sided actor where he's better at portraying the whole, everybody hates me kind of Harry?
Yeah,
as opposed to the... Yeah. I kind of see where you're coming with that.
So I just don't know how well he's going to be able to portray the...
If he does it in a defiant kind of way, like as seen in the trailer where he's Voldemort is trying to get me, I must stop him. If he portrays it kind of like in Chamber of Secrets, the trailer, when Lucius Malfoy says that thing about Harry always being around to save the day, he says, "Don't worry, I will be." That kind of defiant kind of thing. Yeah. He's kind of got that going for him. I think we just have to see more.
In the trailer, part of it seems sort of lame, like when he says, if Voldemort's organizing an army, let's fight, or whatever.
Yeah, let's fight. Yeah. That's what I was talking about. He says, let's fight. And
well, I don't know. I was just thinking, occasionally, it seems like every movie they give him a line that's completely ridiculous, totally lame. Like in Goblet of Fire, it was, "I love magic."
No, that was not a ridiculous line. That was a
it was.
Yeah.
It was atrocious.
Wait, he says what? I love magic.
He walks into the tent and he sees how big it is, and he says,
"Oh yeah,
I love magic."
How many buckets did you guys use?
Do you, Harry?
After that, it was atrocious.
Yeah. But yeah, that stood out for me in this HBO special where he's showing Neville how to cast some spell. And it stood out because it just seemed different for him. It didn't seem like his normal portrayal of Harry.
But it is different, of course. Him leading is a new thing for him. He couldn't believe it when, they wanted him to teach them. So it's and it says in the book that, he's, that it was extremely weird to see people doing what he says, following his orders. So it's kind of good if Dan isn't really too sure how to portray him, because that'll come across into the character, which is a good thing. Well,
okay, is just me, or is Matt Lewis, really, really good? I think he fits, what I've always seen as Neville, He really fits that character.
He definitely
really
pulls
well.
off the nervous Neville that is always in the books.
Well, especially in Goblet of Fire, based off how he did in Goblet of Fire. I mean, those people are expecting pretty great things in Order of the Phoenix.
Yeah. I mean, and back to Dan, I think he's got enough experience under his belt to change up his how he's portraying Harry with those scenes, the Dumbledore
exactly,
scenes.
So, has he had his West End debut at the Equus?
No, he hasn't.
February, I think.
That's February? Oh, Jamie, you're going to go see?
I probably will go and see it, to be honest.
I was telling Jamie we should have him buy a ticket, charge us
cover it for
MuggleCast,
us.
and then, yeah, exactly, do a review.
I'll do that. Will you pay for my hotel and spending money as well.
No. How much are tickets? They're like $100, I think.
For the good seats, yeah.
We also saw a lot of set pictures this week. Azkaban Prison, I think that was probably one of the biggest ones. I was reading through the comments on MuggleNet. People not too happy about Azkaban, where it's placed, because some people are upset that WB is really changing things up with Azkaban specifically, because it is on a waterfall, on a cliff.
The thing is, that's the kind of thing where, the movies, they have a creative license to change stuff, but it just seems so much easier to put it on a rock where it'll still look awesome and they know they'll please people. Whereas if they put it on a waterfall, they risk alienating some people, and it will look awesome, but they sort of are losing by doing it,
But why? Why does that bother people?
Because it's different from the books. People are really hardcore about some things staying true to the books.
Well, I mean, but then going back to Goblet of Fire, they completely rewrote the entire plot in order to fit it in 2.5 hours.
Yeah, and if you're worried about...
I see something like like Azkaban itself being on a waterfall, I don't see that as being as big of a deal.
It just lies in what people want to see. Is almost like one of the benefits of the movies is to, and movies don't replace what your book eye is seeing, but they are a nice visual. I don't want to say assurance, but movies are fun to watch, and you get to see the favorite part of your books, on the silver screen or whatever, and that's what I think a lot of people like. Now, the thing with rewriting Goblet of Fire, I mean, yeah, it would have been cool to see Winky, but you still got to see the tasks. The way they rewrote it, it was a visually pleasing film, not just in general, but for people who had seen all this stuff in their eyes, in their mind's eye, while reading the books. Now, the thing with Azkaban, I mean, you want to be terrified of it. You want to imagine what it would be like languishing there for 15, 16 years. Before being let out and stuff. So this whole waterfall thing is actually a big deal.
I think they're trying to make it look like that there's no way of escaping.
Yeah, exactly. That's
they're
exactly
ignoring
what
the
they're
fans.
Yeah.
It's a terrible place. There's no way you can get out.
The problem with it is that place is actually, inescapable, and if it's on an island, then you can swim across. If you fall out of that thing onto the waterfall and you go all the way down, it looks like a damn big waterfall, you're going to die. So there's the problem of Sirius's escape from there. Dogs can swim, but they can't survive waterfall falls.
Yeah, that's true.
So there's no spell that could allow, a buffer.
Lassie did, though.
Well, he was so weak, he probably couldn't cast a spell.
I'm sure there is, but it's still very difficult.
Something interesting about, this movie is not going to be a movie for the purists, because think about it logically. Movie 1, a 308-page book, is put into a 2.5-hour movie. Movie 4, a 735-page book, is put into a 2.5-hour movie. An 870-page book, they're going to put into a 2.5-hour movie. So you realize they're just going to have to keep cutting stuff. So if that upsets you, then don't even bother seeing the movie, because you're going to walk out and absolutely infuriated.
But Andrew, did you say
people just
that Azkaban was just in the paper? Isn't it just shown in the paper?
Well, they have a newspaper that picture appears in. I don't know for sure if it actually appears in the film or not.
They might just do a flyby.
Yeah, I mean that set, or not the set, the Azkaban itself was actually designed by Stuart Craig. So I mean they got to use it for something worthy of his time.
Yeah.
But anyway, I mean, it would just seem like a waste if they just used it on a newspaper cover.
Yeah.
Because that's where it was. Here's another thing that's been getting fans. A picture got out of Dan's, on Harry's hand, where he's inscribing, I will not break rules.
Was that a gorilla?
Yeah, is there a gorilla in here? When in the books it says, I must not tell lies. You know what's up with this, Jamie?
I was thinking about this, actually, and there's a huge difference between I must not break the rules and I must not tell lies. Because obviously, if it says I must not tell lies, it's like a double lie. Because he's lying, but he's told lies, And also, it just sort of shows, it sort of has a sort of Matilda-esque type thing in that it shows that adults are always right if he puts "I must not tell lies," that because he's a child he's automatically wrong. And throughout the books there's always been this whole, that age is foolish if it underestimates youth and that kind of thing. So saying "I must not break the rules" doesn't automatically mean he's wrong. And it comes back to what we were saying last week about incorrect and correct versus wrong and right. And that if he says "I must not tell lies," then it means, that he's wrong and incorrect. But if he says "I must not break the rules," then he's only incorrect insofar as he's broken the rules of the adults, which aren't automatically right. They're just rules that have been put up by them.
So, but you really think that's why they
completely, absolutely, yeah. I really do think so.
It seems like such an easy thing to stay true to the books, but then again, that is an interesting explanation.
But the movies are completely different to the books in that the books, it's Jo's creative license, and even though her editors can tell her, don't put this in because I really don't think you should, it's a bad idea. The Warner Brothers has, I don't want to say a bigger audience, but a more widespread audience, and if one parent talks to another parent and says, "Don't take your child here because it, does something wrong," then like that. So they have to stay extremely politically correct. And having, "I must not tell lies" is that kind of thing. And it's easier for them to change it just to make sure than to stay true to the books. And also, talking about Azkaban, they aren't supremely concerned if they don't stay completely true to the book. So I think this is just one of those things where they've been advised to do it. So,
That is a very interesting take on it.
Well, thank you.
One question. What do you guys think, like, how, Jamie, you're talking about, like, the editing stuff, like J.K. Rowling's creative license. Do you think if her editors come back to her and they say, "We don't think you should put this in," right? Do you think she has the final say since she's been doing this so long?
I think she has. She does, but she's not stupid, and people know the market better than she does. She knows Harry Potter the best, but people know the children's market and what people accept and won't accept, more than her. So if somebody says you really cannot put this in, don't do it, I bet she listens more than we'd think,
The one thing I was going to say about the hands, though, I think the fans' biggest concern was one of the underlying themes of Order of the Phoenix was that nobody believed what Harry had to say. And so the whole "I will not tell lies" had a bigger implication for the storyline than just writing on his hand.
That is very true, yeah.
But that's also, I guess, the expense of making a movie from a book. They have to cut some of the inner underlying themes, and, "I must not tell lies" might sound cool, but I don't think, given the scenes in the movie, which we haven't seen yet, I don't think that, it would be able to be conveyed as meaning the same thing. "I must not tell lies" is obviously very, very heavily political, very heavily, umbrage, and very heavily under, with that theme of everybody not believing Harry. "I will not break rules" is kind of the substitute line where it's like, okay, we're making a movie, it's much shorter, we have a lot less time to show kind of this in-depth, political dictatorship. That's
but when
happening.
I think of that, like, I think of The Simpsons and Bart Simpson writing on the board, "I will not break the rules" at the beginning of every show.
Yeah, and sometimes it changes. That's what I thought.
Yeah, so Grop. Ben, what do you think of Grop?
I think he looks pretty cool. I mean, we haven't heard him speak or anything, or try to speak, but I don't know. I think he'll be all right. I don't really have any, like, special comments on it, like anything that really, made me mad or anything.
Well, I think they did a good job making him, putting him into the movie, like visually, how he looks.
There's a storyboard image right here of Grop in comparison in size to Harry and Hagrid, and I think that's actually quite cool. It'll be interesting how they fit him into the forest.
Yeah.
I mean, not that the forest is small. I mean, by any purposes, it's not. But it'll just be really interesting, especially because he's like, I don't know, his feet are huge, and I don't know. It'll be cool. It'll be fun to see. Then there's also this kind of, I don't want to say it's wax because it's not, some other material, just like model. Is that an actual like statue of Grop here that we're looking at?
It's a model, yeah. I mean,
kind of like a.
I was wondering what they're gonna do with it, because he's gonna be computer animated anyway. So
eBay.
Well, a lot of the eBay, yeah. Besides eBay. Or charities, they usually build statue models to get motion capture animation. Like, they have to build a full-scale model so that they can actually then scan it 3-dimensionally into their computer.
Right.
So they have to do that. But I was going to say, and I think I did say over top of what Ben was going to say, that he looks like the Hulk with a beer belly in this particular statue.
Good point.
Did we actually see a scene in HBO with Hagrid pretending to talk to him?
Yeah, there was one shot of Hagrid, yeah, in the forest, yeah.
Yeah, but there wasn't any image of Grop there.
No, I don't think so, yeah. And jumping back to the HBO special, we got our first look at Evanna performing. It was 2 words, but she goes, "Thestrals." I can't even do it. Her voice is so high. It's Thestrals. What do you?
Perhaps I should use my chipmunk voice.
What do you guys think of Evanna? And keep in mind, keep it good because she listens to the show. So
I think it's good. I think we obviously need to see a lot more of her. But everybody who was on the set, everybody who has seen her said she is Luna. So I think I'm going to continue believing them. A lot of people saw this and they're giving up all hope and saying, that's not my Luna at all. I think some of the things with even Alan Rickman as Snape and things, we had to give a little bit of allowances of our own mind's eye, the very personal, what we see as their character, and just give into it and see it's a little bit different, but still the same character in the movies being portrayed.
Yeah.
And 2 words. Why is everybody basing everything on Luna, on Evanna, on 2 words? I don't think that's fair at all. I think we need to see a lot more, and I'm interested to see a lot more.
She actually told me that whenever we talk about her on the podcast, she actually fast forwards through it because she can't stand hearing about herself.
Oh, well, then let's continue.
Let's continue that then. No.
Well, Joe said she was perfect.
Yeah.
So if Joe thinks that she's perfect, then that's pretty much the final decision.
Yep. All right, so we are going to play a special interview now that Kevin and I conducted with the 2 producers of the Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix video game. And here it is now. Hi, everyone. I'm now joined with Kevin.
Hello.
Kevin, we haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah, no kidding.
But it's good to hear from you again. And we are here with 2 very special people from EA. Their names are Justin and Matt. Hey, guys.
Hi, yeah.
You guys work on the Order of the Phoenix video game at Electronic Arts over in London, correct?
That's right. We have the pleasure of working on the Harry Potter franchise, and we have done since Goblet of Fire.
Yes, and then for me, I worked on the iSoy stuff way back on Prisoner of Azkaban.
And I worked on the GBA Prisoner of Azkaban title.
Yeah, well, I worked on Quidditch.
Well,
So did I.
Everyone's impressed. Everyone's impressed.
But yeah, we work on Harry Potter, which is obviously fantastic. So.
Yeah. Can you tell us about your jobs at EA? What exactly you guys do with the games?
Sure, yeah. I'm a producer on the title. That kind of means what I try and do is find out what people want from the game, find out from fans like yourselves, find out from the kids buying the game what it is they're after, and then try and make sure that the designs and make sure the audio and the art and everything really fits what people are after.
Yeah, my role on the project is primarily to put the design together and work on what it is that you actually do within the game, and work on making sure that we get all of the Harry Potter fiction in there and really deliver that Harry Potter experience that I as a fan want to get to, and I know you guys do. So
yes,
that's my
cool.
role.
Now, how long have you guys been working at EA?
I've been working at EA probably since 2000, so nearly six or so years, and I've been a producer virtually all of that time.
Yeah, I've been, my goodness, 7.5 years. And, most of that time I've been a game director, which is essentially running the design for the projects.
Okay. Now, Matt, was it you who was on the Order of the Phoenix set when in late September?
It was.
Yeah, it was. The next question I got for you, well, I know your answer, which is, you guys big fans of the books and movies? I know you are.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't think we could do this job if we weren't. I mean, we have to live the fiction day by day, year on year. I mean, Matt absolutely trawls the fiction day by day. I think you've seen the movies virtually every day this year.
The people on the team, including the artists, come to me and ask me all sorts of obscure questions. Been trying to get them to build the broom cupboard that Harry drags Crabbe and Goyle into in Chamber of Secrets, and it's identifying which door it is in the entrance hall that broom cupboard is in. Yeah, I watch rather too much.
Yeah, well, it's great that though there's dedicated fans of the books and the movies working on this game. I know the fans really appreciate that.
Absolutely with this, and I think the direction for this game, above all the others we've done, is really, really to get back to the book and the movies and be just as pure to them as possible. I mean, I know Matt for sure has been through every member of the DA to find their whole backstories, whether there's 3 lines written about them in the book or whether there's 25 or whole books written about them. It's just finding anything we can about these guys.
Right.
Trying to make gameplay out of that rather than invent something first and then, kind of fit the fiction around it. We're starting with the fiction first and then inventing gameplay around that.
I see.
Cool. It's a completely different approach, and it's a lot more detail. It does require that our guys, our designers, are spending loads of time in the books and the movies to get the information we need. Right. Just so we can get the things that you guys will suddenly spot in the game as you're going through and go, oh, wow, you put that in. And that's what we really want to get. We want to get that kind of response this year.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, that direction for the design team has been very much, this year we're not building a game and putting Harry Potter on it. It's about taking Harry Potter and getting a game from it. Fiction 100% leads the game.
Right.
That's great.
We saw a preview of the video game on the set back in late September, and it really, the things you guys have done with the game in comparison to the other ones, a big step forward.
And you want to see it now. You want to see the grand staircase.
Oh, I can't imagine. First
of all, thanks very much for the feedback. That's fantastic, because I was so nervous going and standing in front of fans. Oh my God, what are these guys going to think? But, you guys were wonderful and you gave us some great feedback on the day, and we've been getting more as we've gone. But honestly, the new version, one of your questions was relating to what are we most proud of, but so many things this time round, and the grand staircase went in a few days ago, and oh my goodness.
Oh well,
you guys, I hope we're going to be blown away by it.
Yeah, I know we will. Now, a few of our listeners had called in a few weeks ago with some questions for you guys, and we have them ready for you guys now. Cool. So, Kevin?
Sure. I'm just going to read the first question for you guys. How is the release of the Wiimote, as they are calling it, going to affect the gameplay aspects of the game? And how are these new Wii-specific features going to impact the other consoles?
So what we've done this year, actually, we kind of preempted the Wii on all platforms. We've gone for a new way of casting and selecting magic this year. I'm not going to talk too much about it in detail, but to suffice to say, we don't want this kind of menu-driven selection or the context-sensitive selection of Goblet of Fire that we had. We're really looking to have the player cast magic. Now, obviously, with the Wii, we've got a real opportunity with the Wiimote because it can behave just like a wand. So we really want to pursue putting you and your game character with this wand in your hand and be able to cast magic that way. So the game will be viewed from a different perspective, and it will play slightly differently based on the fact you will be able to use your Wiimote as a wand. I'm not going to go into too many details now because we're still refining those details, but definitely very excited about doing Harry Potter on Wii.
Cool. Now, next question we have here. What part of any of the Harry Potter games are you guys, the designers, the most proud of?
I think the way we've dealt with this project, the way we're sort of taking it from the fans' perspective and working with the fiction first and putting the design in second is probably the biggest single thing we could choose as designers to be proud of, because it's incredibly hard to do it that way round. I mean, looking at something like the invisibility cloak, you can imagine, invisibility cloak, absolutely, as a fan, I want to have a go in the invisibility cloak. It's so awesome. But as a designer, we're giving the player the ability to wander around the castle and have people not be able to see them. That presents a whole bunch of new challenges. So I think the approach is something I'm hugely proud of. But then there's so many things. I mean, the Gryffindor common room, which you guys saw, I'm so proud of that, because it's one of the things that the team worked so hard to get done, and taking something like the film set and transforming it into a game is that it requires a lot of thought process, and we have to approach it quite differently to how you would approach a standard game. So I think what we're doing with this year and taking the fiction and how we're translating that is probably the thing that I'm most proud of.
Definitely. I mean, we started from A, the fiction, but B, like the blueprints of the castle. We've been working quite hard with the movie people to try and get the de facto Hogwarts. And in the past, we've designed Hogwarts almost around gameplay, how our camera system works, how our AI system works. This time, we've actually built from blueprints. And, like Matt said, it presents so many design challenges. So to make a fun game building from a real-world set is actually quite a challenge, and I think we've really kind of pulled it off. And I think also, bringing that to life with magic. I mean, you guys said you've seen the demo. There were sort of various discoverable items, enchanted items in the world that you can discover with magic.
Yeah.
Just having those things in, and the wizard games, and the fictional precedents for the kind of all the missions we're putting in, really just trying to bring Hogwarts to life is really what we're excited about. And it's so different to the games you've seen before.
Cool.
Okay. Now, going back a little to the Wii, how many different console versions will there be? And what are going to be the slight differences between each?
So what we've done this year, we've got a PS2, we've got our PC, we've got our Xbox 360, we've got our PS3, we've got PSP, GBA, and NDS, sort of Nintendo DS. And what we've tried to do is kind of take the broad design, the story, the narrative arc, but give each of those platforms something slightly unique. Kind of what we're calling it in-house a little bit of a twist for each of those platforms. Because what we realise is each of those platforms are in the hands of different people. People playing PSPs aren't necessarily people playing NDSs,
right,
and so forth. So what we've tried to do is kind of skew the gameplay just a little bit so that those people playing those consoles get something that's designed for that console. So, with the DS, for example, it's got the stylus. We're maximising the two screens. All the gameplay centred around interaction through the stylus. Stylus is your wand in this case. But again, the gameplay might be a bit more puzzle-oriented for the DS, because those kind of people prefer, puzzle-oriented gaming. And the sorts of games that are coming out on the DS are more in that fashion. Whereas you might go with a PSP, it's a bit more hardcore. For older boys, it might be something slightly different. And again, with the Wiimote and the Wii, it's all about the controller. We're trying to make it, so you're casting spells that you feel you're really kind of using the wand with the Wiimote. So we're just trying to skew them individually. The core game stays the same in terms of we're telling the same story. We're doing the same things. It's still all about Hogwarts and the enchanted Hogwarts, but we're just trying to do one or two little things on each platform that's unique.
Right. I was actually using a Wii up in New York City last week, and I was playing a tennis game, and all I could think about when I was playing that was how cool it's going to be to use that Wiimote as a wand. So
yeah, we saw it as well, and I played the same tennis game, and as soon as you pick it up, you're like,
yeah,
oh my god,
yeah,
this controller. It's like Nintendo sort of went, how would we make the ultimate Harry Potter game? We put a wand in your hand.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Fantastic. I was blown away by it. It's a great console.
It's really cool. Could you give us a brief description about what we can expect from Order of the Phoenix? For example, is it a free roamer like Sorcerer's Stone, Chamber of Secrets, and Prisoner of Azkaban? Or will it have defined levels, and how are the objectives laid out? And also, should we expect any new gameplay elements that weren't previously available in other games?
I would say that this game is probably taking the best bits of the games you mentioned, but it's more open, if anything. So we kind of have an open, roamable Hogwarts, but we're filling it with kind of side quests, portrait quests, mini-games, enchanted items for you to discover, as well as the narrative mission. I think what we've really learned is people have been really wanting Hogwarts. It's the biggest source of feedback we've had for the last couple of years. They really want to explore Hogwarts and sort of see the characters they know and love, and kind of do the things that the guys do in the books and in the films. So we've put that really at the centre of what we're trying to do this year. And part of that is magic. And we've kind of done spell casting in the past, but what we're trying to do is really bring the world to life with magic. We've been watching the films and sort of looking at things like, when you see the chairs stack themselves in the leaky cauldron, that's magic in the Harry Potter world. It's not necessarily big kind of spell casting. So for us, I guess the difference this year is we've got this open roaming Hogwarts that you can either choose to do the narrative missions, and even with that, there's probably several narrative missions open at any one time, particularly when you're sort of trying to recruit the DA and you're exploring Hogwarts. But we've also given you side missions you can pick up, doing stuff for the portraits and the ghosts, really bringing those kind of lively elements in. And then there's this discovery element. You can go around Hogwarts and you can find all the little enchanted items that you can interact with your magic.
Yeah, I mean, it's really, this time round, we've kept the sort of big moments from the fiction, and with things like Grimmauld Place, we'll be there for you to go and meet Sirius and spend some time with him, and we'll have the Ministry of Magic at the end, and of course there's the whole set of events in Hogwarts with Umbridge, and we really want to sort of make sure that that's all the fiction's covered in that, but we want to go beyond that as well. So we've really got to expand Hogwarts out a lot more. We showed you guys the common room, and in there we have things like the snitch, which is from one of the references in the book, with Harry when he gets he's so angry after Umbridge has banned him from Quidditch that he goes up there and he realises he's still got the snitch in his hand and it's floating around the common room with Crookshanks trying to grab it. We've tried to grab all of that and also put that in there for you to discover. So going around Hogwarts, you've kind of got the main narrative game, but you've got all of this extra stuff in there, which is all about finding bits of the fiction, talking to the portraits, seeing what they know, and you might come across McGonagall shouting at Umbridge in a corridor, and hopefully, as fans, we can all go, "Oh man, I remember that bit. That's awesome!"
Right.
And I'm now seeing that myself. So it really is sort of about making that Hogwarts experience really, really rich. I mean, I think you'll be able to spend as much time, if not more time, just walking around Hogwarts trying to find everything, as you do just going down the main mission path, and which is, quite huge as well, because we've got all of the DA members in there, and then you've got to spend time trying to undermine Umbridge. So, with a couple of extra characters in there to play, like you get a moment with Fred and George, who rock.
Oh, cool.
My favourite characters. Sorry, I couldn't help myself. Fred and George.
You know what? I can see that big smile of yours from across this Atlantic Ocean. I can just picture it in my head.
I must admit, I keep seeing some of the stuff coming through, and we've just been working on the character models for Fred and George, and I'm so excited.
Cool.
To be controlling these guys and wandering around with them. Obviously, everybody's got favourite characters, and we're trying to put loads of them in there. So we're trying to do almost all the DA, and we've covered a lot of the extra characters. And you get your moment with Sirius. Awesome.
Oh, cool.
So I'm very excited about it. The game should be much more open, and as fans, we should be able to spend as much time just. It's not directed, so if I want to go off and just spend time looking around the castle and finding, all the students having a game of wizard chess with people, I'll be able to do that. So
and join in.
Yeah. I mean, you get to play wizard chess, so
oh, wow.
and gobstones and wizard snap. So we've got all of these things in there, and there's little tournaments and things to find out, and hopefully, all these little things that are touched on in the fiction, we get to expand out, and as fans, we get to experience. So
and there's classes as well. Yeah, we forgot to mention the classes. You can go in and do classes. You can make your own potions and go to charms and transfiguration and herbology.
It's really amazing.
Yeah, I have to say, I'm pretty glad to find out that it's a free roaming game, because we must have gotten that question about 100 times. You don't understand how many voicemails ask that specific question.
It's funny because, I mean, so many kids are playing open world games now. It's just, we have to do that. It's what people expect. So, we'd be silly not to. And I think Hogwarts lends itself to being open. It's such a great world. We'd love to build more. We're just sort of limited into what we can build. And I think we're doing Hogwarts a great degree of justice. It's a real focus for this product.
Cool.
Yeah, that's cool. Now, is there going to be anything in the games concerning occlumency?
Oh, of course there is.
Yeah, I mean, the Doppel stuff just, fantastic. The electricity between Harry and Snape is just, I read all that stuff and my heart's in my mouth all the time. But yeah, so occlumency is going to be in there, and you're going to be able to go back to it a number of times, like many of the other lessons. So yeah, occlumency is definitely going to be part of the experience. Although obviously it's kind of an abstract concept, so we're spending a little bit of time at the moment experimenting with various ways occlumency could be done.
Cool. Next question we have here. Have you guys ever considered making an online version of any of the Harry Potter games, or possibly any in the future?
I think we've considered making lots of games. Ultimately, we'd love to make more than we do, but the movie games are taking up all our time and effort right now, and we've still got two more after this one to go. So I think we'll be making movie games for a little while yet. So yes, we'd love to. I'm sure we've had the ideas, but we're not doing it right now.
Okay. Our next question is, will Jim Dale be narrating the game?
We don't actually have a narrator this year. One of the things we've really, really, really tried to do from the outset in this game is design it so that the presentation of the story is integral to the gameplay. And we want you to have this kind of seamless presentation of the game, this immersion into the fiction from the minute you sort of start the game to the kind of final credits, really. And so, all the storytelling is done through characters or through in-game characters. It's not really that we just come up against these kind of narrative cutscenes once in a while which try and fill in the story. We're hoping to tell the story throughout the kind of your character interactions throughout Hogwarts and just throughout the game from start to finish. So we're not using any narrators this year.
Okay.
For the story.
Good, Kevin.
Okay, the next question. Are you going to be... Let me check one sec. Are you going to be put... Trying to read this question off this thing. Okay, are you going to be putting anything into the game that has been edited out of the movie?
Well,
such as things
not specifically edited out of the movie, but obviously the movie can only cover a certain amount of the actual book and the story. So we're picking up some aspect of that, and we're spending a lot of time trying to take the text and find ways of putting it in the game. So we've got you going and finding all the DA members, and we've gone through all the text and found all these little details about them and tried to make missions from them. So you're doing something that's relevant to the fiction with everybody. So we're not just going to make something up and have you do that. We're going to be taking something from the fiction, something that as fans we all know, and making you be a part of that. So hopefully we're going to be able to bring a lot more of the fiction into the video game experience and sort of expand on it as you get to play it. So I'm suspecting there's going to be various things that you're only going to be able to solve if you're a real hardcore fan. So I'm looking forward to seeing what everybody makes of it.
Okay, cool. And will there be any connectivity to any other Nintendo video game systems with the Wii version? Could possibly be paired up with the DS, like there was for Chamber of Secrets?
Actually, it's the only thing where I can say that we actually haven't got any plans to support this currently. We've kind of done this sort of thing in the past, and we're not planning to do it this year, unfortunately. I think the Wii will stand alone, and I think the DS will stand alone as really good games in their own right, but we're not planning any kind of connectivity.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
That's fine.
Yeah, it is fine. Now, this is a pretty important question. What is the game going to be rated, and why?
Well, I guess that's that's where I come in.
Let's introduce you, Lisa.
Okay.
Lisa, what is your exact title at
So
Electronic Arts?
I'm marketing manager for Harry Potter.
Oh, okay.
So I work very closely with Justin and Matt, to make sure that we send all the right messages out to all the right people. So in answer to your question about the ratings, we're not entirely sure what the rating is going to be yet. The last product, Goblet of Fire, was the highest rated that we've done to date, and obviously as the films are getting darker, obviously the games are following suit. So we're expecting to have the same ESRB in the US, PEGI in Europe, and the USK in Germany. So we're expecting the same that we have with Goblet of Fire, but it's yet to be plus.
I was going to say, just checking what those were, that was an E10 in ESRB, PEGI was 7+, and USK in Germany was 12+.
Okay.
Okay, that's good.
Well, Lisa, Justin, and Matt, that concludes all of our questions from our listeners. It definitely looks like an excellent Harry Potter video game, and we're looking forward to it. Are you guys allowed to talk about release date? Do you have one yet?
We can actually, yes, because I think by the time this is broadcast, actually, we're going to have made announcements. So
okay.
Okay.
So the plan at the moment is that what the plan is that we'll be releasing the game on the same day as the movie release.
That's cool.
In America and in the UK. And then what we're going to do is do a staggered release across all the other territories as well, so we make sure that the game is in the shops the same day as the movie comes out.
Cool. So after we all see the movie, we can run out and buy the video games and then relive the whole thing again.
We hope so.
Yeah.
And a little bit more, yeah. I mean, I think Matt and I would really like to thank you guys and certainly all the fans that have been asking the questions and feeding back. I mean, I think we found it really invaluable. And the more sort of feedback we get, the better. It really helps us work out whether we're making the right game and we're putting the right things in. As you can appreciate, we've got only so much time and only so many people working on the game, and we have to make some decisions sometime where things don't go in or they do go in. And if we've got some feedback where people are telling us something's really, really important, we can make better decisions about what goes in the game and hopefully please people and make the game that they want. So really, definitely a thanks for you and any continuing feedback you give us.
All right, well, no problem, and I know I'll be purchasing the Wii copy of the video game when it comes out, so I'm definitely looking forward to using the Wiimote as a wand.
I think everyone is.
Yeah. Okay, well...
Thank you very much, guys. Really
thanks. Thank you for joining us. So, once again, the video game will be in stores on July 13th. Eric, I know you're a big video game player.
Yeah, I'll do a review on it, like I did on Goblet of Fire.
Oh, excellent.
The video game, if you want. I think it's cool, though, that we've had, the early teens, I think it was, or the late teens, we got our first sneak peek of Goblet of Fire. The first trailer, the first pictures, the first everything, and then we were going into it and introducing it and talking about it. We're doing the same thing now with Order of the Phoenix. I think that's great. I think that's really cool, how we got to do this for 2 movies so far.
Yeah, good point.
On this show.
Well, I've been around it over a year now. We're getting old. We have some Dumbledore Norris facts now. We haven't had these for a while. And I know people have been really looking forward to these, Jamie.
Well, I've got a special list of them this week since it's been so long.
Awesome.
I know. Here's now there are a couple that have been ripped straight off Chuck Norris and a couple that haven't. So here goes a couple. Okay. When Dumbledore jumps into water, he doesn't get wet. The water gets Dumbledored. Dumbledore maintains that his only weakness is giant trolls with several large clubs, but this is in fact a lie designed to lure more giant trolls to Dumbledore. Dumbledore destroyed the periodic table because he only recognizes the element of surprise.
Oh.
The Mirror of Erised is actually enchanted to show you the second deepest desire of your heart, otherwise everyone would see Dumbledore. And these three. Oh yeah, and these next 3 and that last one are from Mike, who sent his email quite a while ago, and I only just found it in my inbox, and they're awesome. So thank you very much, Mike. Albus Dumbledore made them change the title to Head Man while he was at Hogwarts. Albus Dumbledore is no one's boy. When he was young, Albus Dumbledore entered the Triwizard Tournament on behalf of all 3 schools. Each school finished first that year, since Albus Dumbledore is second to no one, including himself. I like that one. Albus Dumbledore does not speak Parseltongue. He forces snakes to speak English out of fear. Thank you very much, Mike. And I'll be back with some more next week as well.
I must admit, I'm pretty impressed with those. Usually I'm a disser of this segment. Those are pretty good.
Well, I'm glad you like them. Thank Mike. So yeah, please keep sending them in, especially the original Dumbledore ones, fashioned on stuff from Harry Potter.
We have another rebuttal now from our sister Snape. I didn't know she was a listener. 36 from Spinner's End, as everyone knows. She wrote to us about Snape and the Boggart. She writes, I think it is more likely that Snape left the room as he did not wish anyone to see what his Boggart was. Good point.
Very good point. Interestingly, what would Snape's Boggart be? People calling him a coward? People losing faith in him, stuff like that? People not trusting him?
Shampoo.
Okay, Mooney. Okay, Prongs. Just go on making fun of the Snape. Come on.
I don't know. Yeah, people. How can you? The Boggart can morph into people making fun of him, I guess.
Yeah, that could be it. Yeah.
Or
there's got to be something else, though. I mean, that just seems
probably
like
his father,
his
guys.
Teenage.
Guys, I have a question. What would your Boggart be?
You bet.
I bet. Eric, I really want to know what your Boggart is.
I'm trying to think. Nothing, because I'm scared of nothing.
No, Dumbledore's scared of nothing.
No, I don't know. I'll think about it.
All right.
I'll text message you.
Robin45 of Santa Rosa, California, writes in about mature listeners, older listeners of the show. She has a challenge for them, as she is one herself. Hi, MuggleCasters. I've been listening to your podcast for over a year now, and I thought it was time I wrote you a real live fan letter and made a challenge to a very special subset of your listeners. First, the fan part. I am 45 years old, and I've been a Harry Potter fan for years, right from the time of the first book. When I got an iPod last year, one of the first things I did was search for Harry Potter on iTunes, and up popped MuggleCast. I subscribed and have enjoyed every minute ever since. Thank you, Robin. Now, I hate to go all mom on you guys, but I just have to say that one of the things I enjoy most about the show is just listening to young people speaking articulately and enthusiastically about something they enjoy and have fun with. You do a great job and set a great example. I have a 10-year-old and a 7-year-old, both huge Harry Potter fans, of course, and I hope they turn out as well as you have.
Oh.
Thank you, Robin. Now for the challenge. I have to admit, it took some courage to admit to you all that I'm 45 and a listener to MuggleCast. But I know I'm not alone, in all caps. I would like to challenge all your mature listeners to come out from hiding and reveal themselves. Come on, people of a certain age. I know you're out there. Get out from under your invisibility cloaks and show yourselves. Yours in fandom, Robin. So that's Robin's challenge. So I guess she wants people to write in to us and say I'm a mature listener and I listen to this show.
We've heard from a small fraction of our audience, and that has influenced the show. What I'm saying is there's a large portion of people who are, I'll just call non-participants, who enjoy the show but don't really say anything about it. So I think, so Robin's challenge is just to hear from more of these people.
We do get emails sometimes from the more mature listeners with rebuttals and such, and of course we appreciate it. And so that's Robin's challenge. Email us. Let us know you're a listener. We have another rebuttal now from Melissa Weinkackstrower. I can't do my. I'm not good with my German. Weintrawer. 15 of Syracuse, New York. Hi, MuggleCasters. I was rereading Book 6 when I noticed how Dumbledore always used a different person to give Harry a note about their Voldemort meetings. First was Jack Sloper, then Ginny, then Hermione, Luna, and lastly Jimmy Peaks. I was just wondering why Dumbledore didn't send Harry these notes directly, and what, if any, significance this has.
Isn't it just because he trusts people and he doesn't think about these things because he sees someone walking by and he thinks, well, he can give it to Harry since
And that's a good answer.
He's sort of trying to avoid him anyway, so.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, especially, yeah.
So that's why I didn't give him in person, because if Dumbledore was seen with Harry,
Do you have anything to add to this, Micah?
No, I think that you guys pretty much covered it in saying that he probably just didn't want the same person carrying it to Harry.
He gets
every time, like
suspicious
he didn't
as well.
want to be seen directly.
Favoritism and stuff.
Maybe there's somebody there he doesn't trust.
Jamie, you had success this past week.
I asked in 64 about structural architects, and somebody sent in this rebuttal. This is from Joanne36 from San Francisco, California. She says, Jamie, you said in episode 64 that the cast would have to, quote, ask a structural architect. We've got plenty of those as listeners. When discussing the columns in the Room of Requirement, I sense sarcasm and disbelief in your own statement, so let me reassure you that you have at least one listener who is a structural engineer. I don't know what a structural architect is. I'm assuming that's a UK term. Maybe that's like maybe that's like an architectural engineer over here. So, the technical answer to the question, what's holding the ceiling up in the Room of Requirement, is this. It's magic. Actually, when I saw the DA group photo in the Room of Requirement, I thought those weird hanging columns things were for ventilation, especially since the group is standing on a giant grate. It looks like the room is set up for some serious high-volume air exchange. I love the show, Joanne. Well, perhaps that's like wind stuff to create for the Expelliarmus spell. But I think she's saying that that ceiling would fall down if it was a real ceiling, so it must be magic. So thank you, Joanne, for writing in. And,
the grates are lighting comes out of those.
Oh, okay.
It's for lighting.
But and the next week's challenge is, if you're an astronaut, can you write in?
Yeah. NASA.
I can see it next week from Neil Armstrong, age however old he is, location, the moon. Thank you, Joanne, for that.
I have a McDonald's update now. We've been getting lots of submissions. You have till the end of the month to send in your listener challenge entries. Once again, you take a photo of yourself and a little promotional sign for MuggleCast, whether it's in McDonald's or Subway or any place out in public to help spread the word. Send those into MuggleCast@staff.mugglenet.com and put in the subject line, please, listener challenge, so it's easy for me to find all these. And then we'll post them, I guess, like early December. And the contest winner will be winning a t-shirt and a copy of the new MuggleNet book. Can we do that, Ben?
Yes, we can do that.
JV, you want to wrap things up today with a British joke?
Yeah. Somebody sent this in. I'm sorry, I accidentally got rid of the email, so I can't remember who it's from. But
we're all.
Was from. Yeah, I know. We're all so useful. Okay. A young man named John received a parrot as a gift. The parrot had a bad attitude and an even worse vocabulary. Every word out of the bird's mouth was rude, obnoxious, and laced with profanity. John tried and tried to change the bird's attitude by consistently saying only polite words, playing soft music, and anything else he could think of to clean up the bird's vocab. Finally, John was extremely fed up, and he yelled at the parrot. The parrot yelled back. John shook the parrot got angrier and even ruder. John, in desperation, threw up his hand, grabbed the bird, and put him in the freezer. For a few minutes, the parrot squawked and kicked and screamed. Then suddenly there was total quiet. Not a peep was heard for over a minute. Fearing that he'd hurt the parrot, John quickly opened the door to the freezer. The parrot calmly stepped out onto John's outstretched arms and said, "I believe I may have offended you with my rude language and actions. I'm sincerely remorseful for my inappropriate transgressions, and I fully intend to do everything I can to correct my rude and unforgivable behavior." John was stunned at the change in the bird's attitude. As he was about to ask the parrot what had made such a dramatic change in his behavior, the bird continued, "May I ask what the turkey did?"
That's my favorite joke.
That was good.
I'm glad you like it.
If you would like to contact us, you can use the phone number 1-218-20-MAGIC in the United States. If you're in the United Kingdom, you can dial 020-8144-0677. If you're in Australia, you can dial 028-003-5668. What's the P.O. Box, Ben?
P.O. Box 223, Moundridge, Kansas, 67107.
You can also Skype the name MuggleCast to leave us a voicemail. And we'd like to remind everyone that next week is our voicemail show. So we're going to have like 10-15 voicemail questions to answer. It's just going to be, oh gosh, it's going to be crazy. And you can also use the MuggleCast website to contact us via email or the feedback form. You can just do any of our names at staff.mugglenet.com or MuggleCast@staff.mugglenet.com. And don't forget to become become our friend on MySpace, because we love MySpace. And join our Facebook group, YouTube group, Frapper group, Last.fm group, fan listing forums. It's all there on MuggleCast.com. So, that's it. Next, I'm Andrew Sims.
I'm Ben Shane.
I'm Jamie Lawrence.
I am Eric Skull.
And I'm Micah Tannenbaum.
We'll see everyone next week for episode 66. Bye-bye.
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 The Guardian is currently running a competition where entrants must... Oh, Ben, that was nasty.